Have you ever run into a situation where the name on your signer's ID didn't match the name on their document? Name discrepancies happen all the time, and when they do, they're confusing. In this video, we'll take a look at a few tricky scenarios and share some tips to help guide you in the right direction, especially if your state lacks clear guidance. Let's start with the first name discrepancy, the nickname. Imagine you're performing a notarization. Everything's going as planned until you realize your signer has handed you their ID with the name Walter, but signed their document with their nickname Walt. Because the names on both documents differ, you'll want to use something called the Reasonable Reliance Standard to help you decide how to proceed with the notarization. The Reasonable Reliance Standard is a fancy term that really just means you're using your best judgment along with the ID presented to you to reasonably determine a signer's identity. So in this case, if the photo and description on Walter's ID clearly match his physical appearance, it may be reasonable to say that Walt and Walter are the same person. But if he appears significantly different, it may be reasonable to doubt his identity and decline the notarization. It's ultimately your call, but we recommend only moving forward with notarizations that feel right based on what's presented to you and your best judgment. Now, what if your signer's ID was missing a suffix like junior or senior? Again, verify that the appearance of the signer in front of you matches their ID. And although you're not expected to examine a document's contents, you could use it to look for obvious discrepancies between the document and your signer. If, for example, your signer is attempting to claim retirement benefits for a John Signer Sr., but they look much younger than someone who's of retirement age, it may be a red flag. If you have any reasonable doubts, ask the signer for a second form of ID that includes the correct name and suffix. And if that fails, you should be very cautious about moving forward with the notarization. In fact, we'd strongly recommend against it. And finally, the misspelled name. This happens quite often. Sometimes names are shortened on documents, like in our previous example of Walt and Walter. But if the name discrepancy is major, like the name on the document says David, but the name on the signer's ID says Daniel, ask the signer for clarification. It could just be a simple spelling mistake on the document. But if that is the case, the signer should get it corrected before moving forward with the notarization. On the other hand, if the signer says the name on their ID is misspelled, ask them for an alternate form of ID, or, depending on the state, to present a credible identifying witness to vouch for the name as it appears on their document. And if they're unable to explain or fix the discrepancy, you may choose to decline the notarization. Knowing how to deal with name discrepancies can save you from serious trouble down the road. Remember, only move forward with what you feel comfortable with and, more importantly, what your state recommends. And if you still have questions or you're unsure how to proceed, you can always call our live NNA hotline for help. For more videos like these, subscribe to our channel and click the bell to be notified when new videos are available. We'll see you in the next one.